Welcome back to Sweat and Iron, everybody. I am Graham, your host, and in this episode, I am bringing back the one, the only, okay, get ready for it, Alicia Bell! Okay, now that I've done the wrestling announcement, Alicia Bell returns. And if you haven't listened to the episode I originally interviewed her in, go back. It deals with pole dancing fitness. It's one of the first 10 episodes. And let's face it, I've done over 40 episodes, and I cannot remember who exactly is in what episode. But head on back, check out pole dancing fitness, and Alicia will be in that episode. But in this episode, I messaged her one night. We were both drinking, and I said, let's do an interview. And she said, hell yeah, let's do an interview. You know, that's if she was, I'm just imagining that was what she was saying, which she probably really was. And we had no idea what we were going to talk about, and neither did she at the time. Maybe she did, I don't know. We were both drinking. And then later, she said, this is what I want to talk about. And that is, she wants to set the record straight when it comes to being a larger woman in the gym, working your butt off and trying to reach your goals, and feeling like you're being judged by anybody and everybody, and then some. But don't take my word for it. Why don't you listen to Alicia and what she has to say? And we talk about a whole lot more. We talk about drinking. We talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. So without further ado, here's Alicia Bell. Enjoy the show. Oh, you mean because you'll be getting drunk, you'll be like, I want to do another one.
I know. I'm pretty much it. Well, last time I was in Texas wine country, and I was at a concert when I was talking to you, actually. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. Like, definitely. And then I put it in my calendar, and, like, I've seen it in my calendar. I'm like, I wonder if Graham remembers.
Oh, I remember everything.
And, you know, I was, like, totally prepared, but I'm like, I hope I don't make an ass out of myself.
It's very hard to make an ass out of yourself. I think if anybody makes an ass out of themselves, it's me.
Oh,
I'm really good at opening my mouth and saying things, and then later I listen to myself and I'm like, oh, did I really say that?
Oh, no. It's kind of funny, though. I feel like I'm kind of the same way, so, like, I get it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm excited about this one. I think this one's going to be kind of heavy hitting, but I think it'll be okay.
Now, when you say heavy hitting, are you taking a huge bat, or are you just like or a swing, or with your fist?
Well, no. I know, like, from the conversations I've had with some of my plus size friends, you know, they're like, people, like, they underestimate us. They don't think we're worth anything. And, you know, I told somebody that I was doing this, and they were like, you know, please be a good advocate for us. And so I'm like, okay, holy hell. That's kind of intense.
I didn't know that this was such a huge issue. I mean, and I don't mean to sound stupid. I mean, I really had no idea. But before we get into it, let's explain what we're doing. Okay. We're talking to Alicia, the Alicia, pole dancing fitness Alicia.
Yay, that's me.
And I had messaged Alicia about, it's been almost a month exactly.
Yes.
And I said, hey, you want to do another interview? And she was drinking some wine, and she said, oh, yeah, let's do it. And I thought she meant now, let's do it. So I had to tell her, no, we have to do it later.
Well, I get excited.
But then I didn't know what we were going to talk about. And she said that she wanted to talk about a large concern for women who are larger than average and are in the gym doing fitness stuff. And I just figured now that I've put that out there, maybe I could let you take the floor, Alicia, and you can cover some bullet points.
Sure. I think for a lot of us women, we already go into the gym thinking, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know where to start. And that starts us at a disadvantage. And I don't want to say all women, because there are some pretty amazing women who day in and day out go in and know what they're doing and do their thing. But then you have another type of woman who has looked at herself in the mirror and said, this is not good enough. And to that woman, that's the woman I want to talk about today, because I am this woman. I have been this woman. You know, it's a really scary thing to walk into a gym and be afraid and not know what's going on. And I promptly got a trainer, and I am still with this trainer today. He has changed my entire life. His name is Kier.
He's the one having you do deadlifts and everything, right? So
yes, he is. He's amazing, and he works at Anytime Fitness in Frisco. So if you're ever in town and you need somebody to kill you in a workout, he's the one to go to. But you know, it really can be a daunting challenge for us, especially because when you take a look around the gym, a lot of times you'll see that beautiful, fit girl, full face of makeup, hair done, and she's absolutely killing it in the gym. And you want to know, how can I be her? Why am I not her? And that's, you know, that's kind of our starting point, is like, oh my God, like, why do I want to be somebody else? Why can't I love who I am? And so that's kind of, you know, where I want to come from with this interview today. So that's kind of what I want to talk about. Is that okay?
That's totally fine. Just so we could set things apart here. I did an interview with Emily on body dysmorphia and the fact that you see, really but yeah, you probably heard about it.
So I've talked to Emily. We've talked a lot, actually. I really like Emily. So, and you know, she's talked to, you know, some of our friends about body dysmorphia and this and that. So I think that this is going to be a really good segue.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of parallel, but it's on a different line. I mean, it's the same path, just different avenues. Right.
So, but I think a lot of times for us women to walk in to a fitness environment, it's all automatically kind of what we think of as a hostile environment, because, you know, we're not sure where to go or what to do. And I think that a natural thing for people in general is to look around and think, oh my God, everybody's watching me. Everybody's watching me struggle. Everybody's watching me see that I can't do this. And that was where I was for a long time with my trainer. You know, I immediately thought, these people over here are judging me and this and that. And that's kind of selfish to, you know, think everybody's looking at me, because they're really not. They're really trying to focus on themselves. Because, you know, while I notice that gorgeous girl at the other end of the gym, or, you know, that really buff guy that wants to be on the squat rack when I'm there, they're not looking. You know, they're more oftentimes than not trying to focus on their own things. And I think that's a big deal for us, is that we need to understand that our journeys are our own, and we need to make this something that we're proud of, because we're not necessarily trying to make somebody else proud. I like to make my trainer proud, but at the end of the day, I'm the one that gets to live in my body, and I'm the one that gets to, you know, go through what I go through every single day, not him. So I think for women to have the stigma of, okay, you've just walked into a gym, you're a plus sized person, and you are going to try to work out. A lot of it is just, you know, we're people first. And so we are going to think negative things, but It's incredibly important to really work on your mindfulness and trying to change your mindset of it's okay for me to struggle, because the people who are incredibly fit, they weren't amazing overnight. They had to work really, really hard to get to where they were. Graham, when I look at your story and your weight loss and what you've posted, it's incredible. And we can see how hard you work every single day. You know, you go to the gym all the time. We see it. We get it. It wasn't easy for you to drop, you know, the way that you've dropped. And it's incredible to watch.
No, it was very struggle. It was a very struggle. It was very struggling at first, because you go into the gym, you find a trainer, and they talk to you like, oh yeah, we can get you there. We will get you there. So you start feeling better about it, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. And then you start working, and you see the weight go down, but then at the same time, I don't know, you just feel like you don't see any difference in the mirror for quite a while. And right. You see other people in the gym. I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I'm not a woman, obviously, but I know sort of where you're coming from, because you see other people in the gym, they look better than you, or you feel like they look better than you. And obviously these people have been in there for a long time, or you don't know this I mean, I didn't know this at first. I had so many thoughts when I went in the gym and I saw people that you're just like, God damn, they look pretty damn good. I'd like to look like that. But, yeah, I mean, I've lost about 60 pounds, and it took me what are we, 2019 now? Almost 3 years.
Right.
But it was a struggle. And it wasn't until for me, it wasn't until I figured out my nutrition and fitness. But there's other people out there who, you know, there's a lot more to the picture than just figuring out fitness and nutrition. Right.
Well, and I think that's something, you know, when somebody decides I need to make that change and you don't know where to start, it's really difficult to go to the internet and say, okay, what's the best fitness and nutrition advice? Because you're going to be told to do intermittent fasting. You're going to be told to do keto. You're going to be told to do this. You're going to be told to do that. And then it becomes very overwhelming.
Yeah, you get 1,000 voices telling you what to do, and it gets very overwhelming.
Absolutely. And I mean, even going into the gym, it's like, oh, you should be doing HIIT. No, you should just be running on the treadmill for an hour and a half. Or
don't do cardio, lift weights faster.
Yeah, I mean, it's just constantly like I had no clue, you know, where to even start. And so to me, my trainer was the best resource that I could have. And I mean, he's not self-serving at all. I mean, he goes off and he continues to learn more and more and more about everything that he can learn about so that he can be the best he can be for his clients. And that's something that I really, really appreciate about him, is that he's not just here, just do this and go. It's, I want you to do this because X, Y, Z. You know, I mean, there's a reason for everything. And when we started lifting, you know, he kept saying, I think you're stronger than you think that you are. And I completely disagreed until I started lifting. And it was really low amounts because I couldn't at first. And this past year, I guess 2018, I came to him and I told him, you know, we've been lifting for about a year now. I want to be able to deadlift 300 pounds. And this was in January of 2018. And he said, okay. And by December, I was deadlifting 305. So, you know, that was a big goal that I had. But we used little benchmarks to get there. And, you know, it was something that we worked on and we worked on and we worked on, and I'd stalled for months. You know, I mean, I couldn't get past, you know, 225 for the longest time. And then I couldn't get past 265 for the longest time. And finally it was like, he like lied to me. He like put weight on. He was like, okay, this is just normal, ready, set, go. And I lifted, and he like starts laughing, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? And he said, oh, you just did 305. And then he like kind of like smirked and walked away, and it was like, okay, well, let's do it again then. So we did it again. We got it on tape. It was really exciting. But
Was that the one you posted on Facebook and Instagram?
Yes, I was super proud of that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I was jumping around the gym, and at that point, everybody was looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. Like, I was like, everybody look at me. Like, I just did something huge for myself.
Did you ever find when you joined the gym and everything in the beginning? And there's a reason why I'm asking this. Did you ever find yourself making an excuse not to go to the gym?
All the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think a lot of it is like, oh, well, she doesn't go to the gym and she looks the way she does because she's lazy. And I would just like to set the record straight here. If you're a plus size person and somebody's telling you you can't do something because you're lazy, or you don't feel like doing something because you're lazy, like, they have no clue what they're talking about. I think mental health plays a huge, huge, huge part in weight loss and, self-esteem and all that. And I think that, there was plenty of times where I was like, I don't feel like going because right now it hurts. And right now, I'm sore and I don't feel like it. Or I'm a teacher and I'm exhausted and, I don't feel like, having somebody bark orders at me for another hour. A lot of it was, what can I do to not? But I think, once I set smaller goals for myself, it's like, okay, I'm excited to go. Sometimes, I'll walk in and I'll tell him to his face, I don't want to see your face right now. And he'll say, that's fine. Go squat anyway. And, he puts up with my moods, and he gets it. I mean, I'm not going to be like this cheery person all the time, and that's okay. But I think, something that I would say to anybody, plus size or not, who doesn't know where to start, go talk to a trainer and see how genuine they are. I had talked to many trainers before Kier, and I have paid hundreds of dollars to trainers that don't care a single bit about me. They just didn't. I talked to one trainer who said, oh, this is my program for everybody. And I didn't want to be put in a cookie cutter program. I wanted something specifically for me. Like, if I'm going to spend this much money, I want something for me. I want you to pay attention to me. I want me to be the center focus here. Which sounds, kind of selfish, but in a way, I think in order for you to want to do this, you have to be selfish.
Yeah.
You have to say, I'm going to spend this time doing this, or I'm going to spend the time to research what I should be doing, or researching recipes or something like that.
Because you got to make your routine.
Right. And it has to be your new normal. It can't be anybody else's.
No.
My husband is 6'2", and he is really skinny. And it's like, well, that's cute. He he can
That's
say,
cute.
oh, I'm going to lose weight real quick. And like an hour later, he's like, here we go. I've lost 10 pounds now.
I just
not
burned
really,
off all
but,
that pizza that I just ate.
oh yeah. He can eat anything and it's fine. I can't look at that pizza, but, such is life. But, he's been a really huge support for me, and it's been great. I'm at the point now where, I'll fluctuate up and down here. But I'm finally starting to get comfortable with myself. A lot of that has come from my pole fitness training, which the plus size pole fitness world is absolutely exploding right now. And it's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the most wonderful ladies in the entire world, they have completely told everybody that we're here to stay, and we can be just as good as you are. And, while we know that we do have limitations, our entertainment value is not weakened at all. We're some pretty fierce ladies. So it's pretty cool to watch. It's pretty fun to watch. with pole fitness and whatnot. We have, competitions. We'll go to retreats. We do all kinds of stuff specifically for us. We love ladies of all shapes and colors and sizes, and whatever you want to be, like we just love you, and we want to be, we want to include as many people as we can into our organizations.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all kinds of really great people you can surround yourself with, and that's one of the biggest things you have to do when you're trying to get on a path to start becoming more healthy. It's, your support system is going to be the biggest, indicator of success.
I feel like having the support there is great, but the support will only probably get you about 50% of the way there. The rest of the 50% is you and breaking old habits and getting away from the bad, not bad people, but the things that could instigate things that are counterproductive to your goal.
Right. Well, and I mean, I guess I say that. A lot of it is if your friends know that you are looking at losing weight and you're like, please don't invite me to happy hour because, I'm trying not to do this or I'm trying not to do that. And they invite you anyway, and they still, you know what I mean? Or it's like, here, I got lunch for you today. It's fried, whatever. A lot of it is finding those relationships and friends and support systems that will, find your alternative. Like, I've had friends before say, hey, I know you're counting macros. What would be the best option for us to do dinner?
Mm-hmm.
And that's been game changer too, because, the more people you tell, the more people you have to impress and the more, not impress, but the more people you have to hold you accountable.
I've known people who've come over to my house. We're cooking stuff that we feel is macro friendly for us.
Uh-huh.
They either eat before they come over or they bring their own food.
Yeah, and listen, amen to that. Less dishes for you.
Yeah, actually that's a good point. Connie at the time wasn't too worried about it. Now that totally makes sense. She was probably inside her head dancing, going all like, yay, not so many dishes. But whenever people come over anyways, we use paper plates or whatever, because then it's, easy. Absolutely. Not that we're cheap, but,
No, you just have to be, use your resources as best as you can.
Well, and it all goes back to what you're going to be doing that night. If you're going to be, trying to, let's say you made room for alcohol that night, and you don't want to spend time clean. Well, first of all, you don't want to have to do the dishes later, which you probably won't. You'll probably save it till the morning. You don't want to have to do them in the morning. So what do? Let's do paper dishes, and everybody bring your shaker bottles.
Yes, exactly. I love it.
My friend, he's in episode 1. Matt Haft, my first ever trainer in the gym.
Trainer, yeah.
He's a great guy. Him and his wife now travel the country. He's basically, I don't know what you would call him exactly. I guess you'd call him a mobile trainer now, because he basically he has a truck and a trailer that they just go across the country right now, and they set up shop somewhere. They camp out. And then they work somewhere. I don't know what she does, but he works as a trainer at various gyms and other stuff. I think they first started working they worked on a ranch, and then he started working as a trainer somewhere. But I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, when we first came over to their house before they started traveling, they didn't have any glassware. You want to know what they had?
Plastic cups.
They had shaker bottles for everybody.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Yeah. I love that.
They just over time just bought so many shaker bottles that they're just like, you know what? If you want to drink something, you can either have a shaker bottle or you can bring your own glassware.
That's so good.
I think she might have had her own glassware, but I just remember shaker bottles being everywhere. I remember having shaker bottles at dinner, at least.
That to me is so smart too, because it's like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do any of these dishes. Here's your shaker bottle. Go ahead and take it home because I don't want it.
Yeah, I mean, we just had water. I think actually at that time I wasn't really doing my nutrition as well, and he had like a quarter of a bottle of Jim Beam left in his cabinet, and I said, "Can I have that?" And he's like, "Yeah, I don't touch it." I'm like, "Sweet."
There you go. And out of a shaker bottle too. Like I feel like that's just like the best.
No, that one he gave me a plastic cup or something for that
Oh,
one.
okay. So you actually got some.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm pretty sure the shaker bottle would have been toast after the alcohol in it.
Oh yeah, probably. But can you imagine? You're just like, I'll just take a little protein with my Jim Beam.
Yeah, but a little tidbit there about Matt. It's funny. I'm pretty sure if you go in his trailer, it's just shaker bottles everywhere.
That's so good. I feel like I'm gonna start doing that to my guests.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that? At first, I was really like, I don't know how to describe my feelings. When he told me that he went out to travel, my first thought was, what the hell, man? Why you gotta leave? But now I think back to that, and I think it's really jealousy because they don't have any kids. They have like no debt. They made sure that all their debt was paid off, and they're living the dream, man.
Well, that's pretty fantastic.
Yeah. But back to your point of women in the gym, I do remember Carmela, his wife now. She signed up for a competition. I want to say it was sort of it was like a bodybuilding slash showing off bikini competition type thing.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but she was very quiet about it. She didn't tell a lot of people. And she told me, and she told Connie, and she didn't really tell a lot of people at the gym. She told us to keep it quiet. And I think, I mean, if she's listening to this, Carmela, I'm sorry if I get this wrong, but I would think that the reason why you did that was because maybe you were afraid that you weren't going to look as good as the other women on stage. You didn't want people to show up. You didn't want to be embarrassed, maybe. I'm not sure, but I know that by the time she got done doing what she was doing, she looked great. I mean, she looked great before, but she looked even better then, afterwards. Yeah. But there's an example right there of, I mean, even though she's not plus size, it all goes back to a combination of self-esteem, confidence.
Right. And I think like that's, I think that's a lot of my point is that, you know, whether you're plus size or not, you know, whatever I consider myself or, you know, the other girls that are my size, we're still people first. And we have the same feelings that everybody else has about their bodies. We have the same, you know, worries about, you know, what we look like or what we do or, you know, whatever. And it's, you know, a little bit of encouragement goes a long way.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of who you are, you know? And so, I mean, you know, I would just say, you know, if you notice somebody in the gym, maybe that's not, you know, you're not used to seeing, like, it's never going to hurt just to be like, hey, glad you're here.
Oh, really? Because, you know, I always thought that if you walk up to well, I guess it depends on when you're doing it. If it's afterwards, let's talk about when that's okay, because I see people, not just, you know, people in our circle of friends, but other people I've met through other Facebook groups, through lifting and whatnot. These women say, you know, I was working out and this guy came up to me and he just said, hey, you're looking good. I was debating if I was going to come over here or not. And then she posts something like, I really wish he wouldn't have come over at all because I was in the middle of my workout and he distracted me.
Well, and I think, like, if somebody has headphones in and they're clearly working out, leave them alone. Yep. But, you know, if you're like, I have some friends that, like, if I walk in the gym and those guys are in there, you know, they'll always say, hey, glad to see you today. How's it going?
Hey,
and then
girlfriend.
They just I mean, you know, you just kind of leave it at that. Like, it doesn't need to be like a whole minute of uncomfortable dialogue.
They don't say that, do they? Do they say, hey, girlfriend?
No.
Oh, okay.
They're really nice guys. guys.
Do you want to know how
Um,
ridiculous I would be? I would probably say that too. If we were in the same gym, I would probably come in, see you, and I'd probably snap my finger and wave my hand.
oh, well, that's okay because I would respond to that too, but only it's because I'm walking into the gym. Like I'm not in the middle of my workout. I'm not, struggling,
It's only
whatever.
because I have no shame, though.
I have none either. And so that's hard for me too. Like I know that, there have been times where, somebody has wanted, the machine that I'm on or the squat rack or something. And, it gets kind of, I don't want to say uncomfortable, but like you just kind of like are aware that people are watching and waiting and this and that. But, for the most part, I would say like an appropriate time to approach and talk to somebody would be like before or after the workout. At our gym, they have like these little pieces of paper that like are cut up and it's like inspirational, like quotes, like, like some of them will say like, glad you're here today. You inspire me, great workout today. And like, I've had somebody tear off one of those and just leave them in the cubby where my stuff is and not even say a word to me. And it was like, oh my goodness, like, thank you for noticing that I'm working hard because
Wow.
sometimes it's like, man, I'm not. But somebody else had noticed that and they didn't want to interrupt me. So that's what they did. And so
I know how that goes. I was you said that it shows that I put a lot of work in, and I do appreciate you telling me that because I don't, not that I'm wanting to hear it from people, but I finally, this is going to sound so sad. I finally heard a compliment from my own mother about, it was this past winter. It was right before Christmas time. We were having a party. She was having a party at their place. We came over with the kids, and after everybody ate and everything, my mom's sitting there in the middle of talking to somebody and turns and points to me, and she said, "That's my son over there. And he's in the best shape of his life ever, and I'm very proud of him." And I was just like, at first I thought she was being a smart ass because she always gives me a hard time about my lifestyle of being fit. But she looked at me and smiled, and I thought she was going to start crying. And it was one of the biggest compliments I've ever received ever. And when it's just one of those things that you get, and it really touches you.
Oh, absolutely. And everybody needs that, at some point. And, it's, when I first started with my trainer and I hated everything about it because it was hard.
Yeah.
Just that, one person, saying, "Hey, that was really good," or "Hey, I saw that you lifted that today. That was really awesome."
Mm-hmm.
Like that, it's food, it's fuel, it's okay. Well, I want to come back tomorrow too. Then, and it becomes something that, like, you're not trying to strive for the compliments, but what you're doing is you're really looking at yourself and saying, okay, hang on, I guess I can see that change too. Or you're right, I have never been able to lift like this before. Or, when I first started working out with my trainer, we did a lot of HIIT classes, and there were other people in those classes. And, sometimes I couldn't get, when I first started, I couldn't get through the classes without stopping. And as time went on, it got, I don't want to say easier because the workouts were always hard.
Sure.
But I didn't feel like I was dying all the time.
Okay.
And that was an accomplishment because at first it was hard and then it was less hard, but not because the intensity stopped, because I was starting to get better.
Yeah.
But
I got the weirdest compliment. It was not the weirdest, funniest compliment. Was from the manager of my gym, Nikki, who told me there's a video of me and Matt floating around on Facebook that is from the security cameras in the gym. I went in I had a day off from work, and I met up with Matt to train with him. And this was probably 6 months into our training. I'm going to guess maybe a little bit more. Went in, And I was having him teach me. We weren't in a training session. We were just working out together, but it still felt like we were in a training session. It was very weird. So I had him explain the movement for side raises, side delt raises, and so we're going over it. And the video, it's without any weights. He's showing me his arms go up and down, and this video is of me. Like I put my arms up and down, and then I decide to turn into like a bird, and I start like flying around the weight room, and then I do ballerina moves around them. That's
so good.
It's all on the security camera. So Nikki said that she was told about this video, and she said that she checked out the video, and she said, I checked out the video, and I gotta say, you look like you've made a lot of progress since that video. And I said, yes, those raises have done a lot for me.
So good, yes.
But if you're on Facebook looking through my videos or whatever, if stuff I'm tagged in, it's on there somewhere. And I'm wearing like a yellow-green shirt, and Matt's just standing there looking at me, and he's looking like he's ready for me to start doing something else.
Not take off flying around.
I got that thought stuck in my head. You're talking about compliments, getting compliments, and it was like right after I got done working out, and it was one of those moments where I really needed a really good laugh, and it really got me going.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I mean, it's little things like that. I mean, I think that's why I love my trainer so much, is that, he very quickly found what was motivating to me and what wasn't, and he has run with it. And so he knows how he can get me to work harder. He knows what to say to kind of like put me into more of a mood to do this.
That's a sign of a great trainer.
He's fantastic. I can't say enough good things about him. I've been with him. I guess we just celebrated our 3-year anniversary on Valentine's Day. It was my favorite. Because I didn't get my husband anything for Valentine's Day because we don't really do gifts, but I sure did get my trainer something.
What'd you get him?
He puts up with me during the toughest times. My husband and I don't really work out together a lot. It's, almost a point of contention sometimes because, what I do is different than what he does. And so, so it was just always better for me to keep my trainer than it is to turn around and work out with my husband. I mean, there have been times where he'll lower his bench press weight so that I can not have to change out the weights, and we'll do it together every once in a while. But for the most part, I just work out with my trainer, but he's pretty cool. I honestly can't say enough good things about him because I've never stuck with anybody for this long.
Yeah.
In fact, they would probably fire me before I would fire them, and somehow he's still around. So I'm definitely grateful for him.
So you said that somebody you talked to said that you should set the record straight, or what was it you said when you mentioned you were going to be talking about plus size women in the fitness world?
I think most people's perception is that we're really lazy, and that we got here to the weight we are because we're lazy, or we're useless, or we're insert whatever adjective you want. But I think the bigger part is like, you don't know what our story is. What got me here to my current weight was not what got somebody else to that current weight. Whether it was, this is how I grew up and this is what was acceptable at home, or whether there was a trauma that happened, or whether there was, depression that happened and then I just started eating, or whatever it was, like nobody knows why we are the way that we are except for us for the most part. And I think, it's not a laziness factor. Anxiety plays a lot of part in what's, going on with us. But, really just just to advocate for somebody who is a plus size person or a plus size woman. We are just as good as anybody else in this world. Like we know our limitations, we have limitations, but that shouldn't take away from the accomplishments that we make. Whether it's I lost 5 pounds, that's a huge accomplishment. Or I can lift 5 more pounds that I did, yesterday. That's a huge accomplishment. We still, have the same goal, and it's to get healthier, but maybe we do it different than you do. And, just knowing and understanding that, that person that's in the gym that's, overweight, be glad that they're there, because, they're trying so hard to do what they need to do to be healthy. And they may be looking at you, and they may see you day after day, and they're working too. And maybe you're, they're watching you thinking, hey, I can do that too. You never know who's watching, and you never know who you can inspire, and you never know, who will be changed by you. And so I think, a lot of it is just be loving and accepting to the people that are around you. They may be on the equipment that you're on, but they're there to better themselves just like you.
That's well said.
Thank you. Sometimes I say good things, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some plus size women in my gym, and I don't think any of them are lazy. I don't think that they don't try as hard as everybody else, because when I see them, I mean, they're busting their ass. They're doing full body workouts. They're doing the classes that Anytime Fitness offers, those burn classes.
Yeah.
But I mean, everybody's going to make changes differently and at different rates. And I just think that people need to think of the big picture rather than thinking so narrowly. If I'm saying that correctly, I don't know if I phrased that correctly, but I don't know. I know that it's so easy for people to judge too. That's the hard thing. I mean, it's easy for me to judge. I judge people. I'm very guilty of judging people all the time, but that's also because I like to people watch.
Same.
I like I'm a big fan of just going to Walmart just to look at the people. But
well, and I think too. I've had videos of me pole dancing be viewed a lot. Maybe not even just on my Instagram, but on other Instagram accounts. They'll repost something from me. And, the great thing about the pole fitness world, there's a lot of positivity there. And there's a lot of love, and there's a lot of acceptance. And I've had other friends who've had their pole fitness videos go viral. And the comments there that are from people that are not in the pole fitness world are awful and hateful, and just, they would say, oh, well, she shouldn't be doing this because, she's this, or she can't be doing that because she's too heavy, or this isn't sexy, or this isn't whatever. And,
that's just stupid.
It's hard, because it's like I know that somebody's probably seen my video and thought, you know what? No. And why? And I don't do what I do for anybody else other than myself.
Yeah.
And my friends who've had videos go viral, they don't do this for anybody but themselves. And, we can't really help, who goes viral and who doesn't. But, at the same time, it's like, you don't know where this girl has been and why she's been there. But yet, the words that come out of their mouth are, just vile, and they're terrible. And, that kind of stuff has to stop. I think we need to kind of watch what we're saying and watch what we're doing. Just to make sure that we're not tearing each other down. I mean, there's no reason for that. This world's going to hell anyway. We might as well go down, with kindness.
Yeah, people always say, you're going to go to hell for that. My response is usually, well, at least I know I won't be alone. I'll be with friends.
I have a friend who's like, well, you'll be driving the bus. It'll be fun.
You'll be driving the bus.
Hop on then. Let's go.
Oh, man. If you were driving a bus, would you want the traditional horn, or would you want to have like an overhead pull cord that sounds like a train?
Oh, definitely a pull cord that sounds like a train.
That would be so cool.
I want to know people that I'm coming in hot,
I'm coming in hot. I'm coming in hot with all this hell.
I need my presence announced. It'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. And then you'll have like a glass of what's your wine of choice?
I really like a good Cabernet. So.
Cabernet?
Yeah.
Sauvignon.
There we go.
Or how about one that I was really into was Syrah.
Oh yeah, delicious.
And occasionally I like a good Merlot, but
yes. I like a good steak with Merlot though.
Oh God, yeah. Or a Chianti with steak, or usually Chianti goes with a Italian dish though, doesn't it? Or
I don't have
maybe fish.
I know enough about wine to know that I like to drink it, and that's about it.
I went through this phase in my life where I thought I will drink wine, and it was when I was in college. It was my last year of college. And I went to this wine store that was near the college, and all the snobs bought their wine there. And so I'd go in, and the guy would be like, "What kind of wine do you like?" And I'm just like, "I like red wine that's
exactly
dry." Oh, it was horrible.
And I'm the kind of person that's like, you know what? I like a variety of things. Can I try some stuff?
Yeah. I just need give me what do they call that? Can you give me when you walk in and they give you the 5 beers on flight? Can I have a flight of wine, please?
Yes. What is it? There was like an episode of South Park where one of the characters, he gets really big into the wine tastings. He's like, I'm not having a glass of wine. I'm having 5, and it's classy.
It's classy.
I know. I'm like, that's me. I love it.
And then there was a long time ago, Steve Brule on the Tim and Eric show. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's what's his name? Talladega Nights. Will Ferrell's partner.
John C. Reilly?
That's it, John C. Reilly. Yeah. He plays Steve Brule, Dr. Steve Brule, and he comes in, he's doing a wine tasting, and by the time they cut to him, he's drinking too much. If you have a free moment to kill like 2 minutes, listeners, Google Steve Brule wine tasting. It's the best 2 minutes of your life you'll ever have. You won't ever feel like you wasted your time.
I hope not.
It's great. How about let's get back to what we're not talking about wine anymore.
And then we just go away. I don't know.
It's because it's Saturday and we know that we're gonna get our I'm probably gonna find some bourbon somewhere. You're gonna find some wine, and we're both gonna enjoy our Saturday evenings.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, we're gonna have some wine. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be divine.
It is.
We're gonna probably watch some Game of Thrones here.
Yeah, we have 3 episodes to watch before tomorrow night. So we started back in January to watch all of them again, so that we can catch up and really understand what's going on and remember all the things that have happened, because there's a lot.
Yeah, we last left off where I know I'm very behind, but the rock people on the river were coming and attacking the dude that was exiled with the dwarf, Tyrion.
Got you.
That was the last episode we saw. maybe it was around the time the Giants were attacking the wall.
Got you.
There's
So
a big,
you have a ways to go before tomorrow,
yeah, yeah.
but that's okay.
Oh, it's
I
totally
won't,
okay by me.
I won't give anything away. There will be no spoilers. It'll be fine.
Oh, that's fine. I already know some things that have happened. At first I was like, I can't do it, but I'm so far behind. It's like I don't remember who I was listening to, but there was a podcast I was listening to, and the guy was talking about a show, and he's like, spoiler alert. And he goes, guys, the show's been out for 8 years. If you haven't seen it by now, I don't care. I'm telling everybody what's going on.
Yeah, that's very true.
So do you have anything else you want to add to your setting the record straight?
I don't think so. I just think that, like, instead of maybe trying to look negatively at somebody else who's in your space,
Mm-hmm.
because some people, they like their certain things, just kind of understand that, you started somewhere also, and these people are starting somewhere too, and just kind of having that empathy for people for, I understand that they're starting now, and letting people know that they're doing a good job. And you don't even have to do anything. If you just like look over and smile at somebody,
Yeah.
good enough. That's not a bad thing either. Just a little bit of encouragement goes a long way. A little bit of empathy goes a long way. And, just know that people are watching you. And if that's the case, then work hard, keep doing what you're doing. Somebody else will look at you and be like, man, they're killing it. I hope to be that person someday. And that's a compliment.
It is a compliment. And when that day happens, I guarantee you're going to feel amazing because for once, somebody else is in the shoes that you thought you were still in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's been my favorite part about the pole fitness world is that I teach dance classes at my studio at Altitude Fitness in Frisco. And the best compliment I've ever received was from a fellow plus size dancer. I was teaching a beginner, very, very, very beginner level 1. And she said, I was shocked to see somebody my size teaching, and it makes me want to continue. And she has been a member now for the last couple years. And that has been probably the best compliment to me because I know that when I started, the teacher was incredibly fit. And when I first started, I thought, I don't belong here. And I kept coming and kept coming, and I got better. And to have somebody else say, I'm glad you were here because I saw you and it made me think that I could do it too. That honestly has really kept me wanting to continue to teach and continue to doing, my performances and continuing to compete with what I do. So it's been really cool. It's been really cool.
Well, fantastic. All right. Well, this has been quite an episode, I gotta say. I mean, it was very for an episode where I had no agenda and I just invited you to come on and just talk. This has been it's been a combination of inspirational, educational, and entertaining.
That's me.
So I guess that means that we did a good job.
I think that is. I think that's pretty good.
All right, Alicia. Well, I'm going to wrap this up here. So for the rest of you guys out there, you keep setting your goals and you keep at it.